weighing in fights and films.
Welcome to Weighing In Fights and Films. I am Brett the Threat with my cousin and co-host,
Jenny Rose. We are going to be giving you the top 5 fights of 2016.
A little late, but here they are. Okay, who do you got for number 5?
My number 5 is McGregor versus Diaz, A New Hope. It's the first
Hope?
It's the first bout.
Where McGregor gets submitted.
Yes.
Yes, that was a damn good fight, man.
UFC 196 on May 16th of 2016.
That broke my heart. That broke my heart.
Well, you can see a point in there where Diaz smells blood. And he just goes full shark mode.
Yeah. He lands a 1-2 and just rocks McGregor, and he's just like, what? You can tell he's getting gassed out, too, because he's just throwing all this offense.
Yeah.
That was a damn good fight.
And then also, if you hear the audio, Diaz at one point is, I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Yeah. That's what he said. And the Stockton slap was in there.
Of course it was. I think he landed like 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, probably. He throws like 5 in each round or something like that.
That's the fight where he was against. Diaz had McGregor against the cage, and he was near Diaz's corner, and Diaz's corner is screaming at McGregor, "You're done, McGregor. You're done. You're breaking."
You know what though,
Fucking
McGregor.
cool.
And then also with this fight, first of all, McGregor's one of the biggest and best shit talkers out there.
Right.
And so is Nick Diaz.
Both the Diaz brothers.
Both of them, right? So, if you're going to dish it out, you got to take it.
Yep.
And the one thing I did like with this fight is that McGregor, he handled the loss well.
Yeah.
I mean, he did post-fight interviews and everything. He handled it like you want someone to handle it, like you want an athlete to handle it. So.
He really was humble in victory and defeat.
Yeah. What's your number 5?
My number 5 was Holly Holm versus Miesha Tate.
That was close on my list. That was an honorable mention to me.
Yeah. Oh, such a great fight because Holly Holm was winning all 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Just like she wouldn't let her get in close to take her down. She got her down a little in the 4th round, but then she survived it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, if she gets to that position again, she's gonna lose. It was like the last minute of the last round, she sinks in the RNC, and I was like, fucking
And she held out. Holly held out until she was out. She didn't tap.
Yeah, she went out like a warrior.
She's still punching while she was going out, so I mean, way to go out in your shield.
Yeah. That was wicked. And Holly and Miesha Tate, she's been at the game for so long. I was so rooting for her to finally get a belt. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, she earned it and she deserved it.
And I like both those ladies, so there was a win-win for me on whoever won. Because I like Holly Holm, I like Miesha Tate, so yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when they match up fighters, you're just like, I don't want either one of them to lose.
Yeah, I know.
That was one of those fights.
That's one of those ones where like, can't you both get participation belts?
All right, who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Boss versus O'Connell.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good. That's my honorable round.
Oh, okay. UFC Fight Night 89, June 18th. So this was a light heavyweight, and their pace for being light heavyweight was up there.
Surprising.
I mean, these guys usually gas out pretty quick, and these guys just went.
The volume that these two big guys went through,
hard hits. And then Boss gets rocked, right, in the first, and they could have stopped. He got rocked. Kept going, came back, and he won. But at the very end, I loved it. Like 30 seconds to go, they give the little nod to each other, and it is just slugfest back and forth. And then
I think Max Holloway started that with Ricardo Malmas when he's just like they hit the clappers for 10. He's like, let's do this right now, and then you just fucking go at it.
But they went at it, and then at the end, great sportsmanship.
Yes, I always love to see that.
I like seeing great sportsmanship. I mean, I can.
Yeah, we just saw that with Hill and Andrade.
With Hill and Andrade, the great sportsmanship at the end. I don't mind shit talking and all that stuff, but I like it when athletes know when to turn it off, when to say, you know what, we both stepped in here.
I like that.
We both did this.
The game is over. It's like when 2 hockey teams battle each other on the ice, but when the game is over, the line where you bump fists at the end, that's sacred. You know what I'm saying?
You return back to humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah. What was your number 4?
My number 4 was Yair Rodriguez versus Bruce Leroy, Alex Saqueras.
Oh, okay.
If you like spinning shit, like Nick Diaz said, this is the fight. Love this thing. Round 1 and 2 is just crazy. They're just both throwing spinning stuff. You get dizzy watching it. It's fucking great. It's every Bruce Lee movie wrapped into a fucking MMA fight. It's awesome.
So, on to number 3?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so my number 3 is Empire Strikes Back, McGregor versus Diaz.
What was that? I think...
UFC 202.
That was a great fight.
And I call this Empire Strikes Back because McGregor ends up winning this one.
Yes.
Setting up the trilogy. We're waiting for the Return of the Jedi.
Yep. I predict that the trilogy will be McGregor's last MMA fight.
Yeah.
So he might retire after the Mayweather fight or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. With all this propaganda and hype going on right now about his name, I have no clue where.
Who knows about that? But I believe if he does retire and take time off, when he comes back, that will be his fight, the trilogy to end it. And if he wins that one, that would be like the fight to go out on, retirement-wise. Because I think he's going to do movies. He's just going to be an actor.
Well, I mean, this is a guy he knows what he's doing. He's running a show here. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's...
he changed the game.
In media, in terms of all of that. There is not a doubt in my mind that McGregor has this planned out so to best financially benefit him.
Yeah. And he's just got a giant bucket full of charisma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But this fight, Conor showed precision early on, and he just chewed up Diaz's leg with those kicks.
Yeah.
He kept fighting while his foot was broken. That's when he went out on crutches, I believe, right?
Yeah. Well, it was his shin. I think it was his shin.
No, broken foot. That's what I read everywhere. I thought.
Okay.
I thought I remember. Unless I'm.
Well, whatever it was, Nate Diaz checked a leg kick, and that's what did it.
Unless I'm going through all these fights and they're starting to meld into one. But it was fun to watch. It was a dogfight.
It went back and forth. McGregor knocked him down, I think 3 times.
Yeah.
Once in the first, twice in the second. And then he starts to tire a little bit like he did in the first fight. And then Diaz comes on, takes
Conor
a third.
had to dig deep. And at one point, I'm watching this, in the 5th round or something. You just see how Diaz has this look, as he's bloodied up and everything, and he's looking at Conor, even, because he's tough, right? Mm-hmm. But he just had this look on his face, like, where are you going, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Just even right at the end. So these are 2 big shit talkers going at it for a second bout, and that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
But for me, the best part about that fight was when you can tell when Nate Diaz is going to start in and just start really loading up. He starts doing yeah, motherfucker, yeah, and he starts coming in, and I think McGregor was waiting for that moment. That was his tell that he's gonna come in, because he's like, yeah, motherfucker, and he goes in, and then McGregor counters him with a left, and just pow, and you see Nate Diaz's face go, yeah, come on, motherfucker, boom, and he's like, okay. I'm back to serious mode here. I was like, fucking A, man.
Well, then do you remember when we were watching that fight? We were watching with my team, and most of the room thought Diaz won.
I thought Diaz. We gotta put that footage up there because I still have that.
We have footage of us just going wild when they said Conor's name because we thought it went to Diaz.
Yeah.
Especially with that takedown late in the round.
Yeah, well, he definitely took the 5th round just because of that takedown.
Yeah.
But I was so fucking zapped about that fight that I totally forgot about all the knockdowns that McGregor had in rounds 1 and 2. So he definitely took those rounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great fight.
That was exciting.
Great fight.
Who's your number 3?
My number 3 was Cub Swanson versus Doo Ho Choi.
Oh.
The UFC 206. It was the sleeper card of the year. That was so, especially the very last round. The 2nd round and the 3rd round was just so intense. They just kept going.
Yeah.
Going and going and going. And that shot at the end when the bell rings for the final one and Cub Swanson's like this. He's like, just praying to God, thank God that's over and I won.
I'll expound on that later.
Iconic shot.
I'll expound on that later.
I see what you're saying. You'll expound on that later.
I'll
okay.
Expound on that later, yes.
So who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Ruthless Robbie Lawler versus Condit.
That was a damn good fight. Another honorable mention for me. Yes.
Yeah. This was early in the year, January 2nd.
Yes.
Yeah, very early.
A lot of people forgot about this one because how early it was.
Yeah. But they each get knocked down, but they recover. Mm-hmm. And then Lawler showed great checks to kicks in these rounds.
I'll have to watch that again for that.
And then solid shots landed from both. And then patience and tactics at work, like the technique in this fight.
Oh, yeah, especially by Condit.
Yeah, good kicks from Condit. And then...
yeah, it wasn't like the cupcake kicks he gave with the Nick Diaz fight and winning on points.
Yeah, well, speaking of points, it seemed like he was going in for more points. Yeah.
Dude, he threw
he threw smart tactics.
Yeah, but he threw over 500 strikes or something crazy.
It was the proportion. I was watching it as it went through the fight. Through the majority of the fight, he's throwing 4 times as many shots as Lawler.
Yeah.
And he's landing almost 3 to 4 times as many as Lawler.
I thought Condit won that fight.
But the 5th round was spectacular. I mean, Lawler was going for the KO. He was just swinging for the fences.
Yeah, well, he had to turn it up because I think he was... I think
turn it up.
Yeah. And like that moment, as soon as the bell rings, both of them put their arms on the cage and they
They
just
are done.
lost,
I mean,
exhausted.
they left everything in the cage.
Yeah.
That was one for the spectators, that fight.
And it was a belt fight too, so that always adds to the excitement of a fight, fights of the year and stuff.
Yeah. Who's your number 2?
My number 2 was McGregor versus Diaz 2. That was my number 2 because it wasn't for a belt, but it was like, it's part 2 and it's like it's a big fight, big names, and it goes back and forth. You don't know who wins until the end. You know what I mean?
They're just fun to watch, those two.
Yeah, my God, I can't. I really can't wait for the trilogy.
That's a show. That's just a show.
Yeah.
So my number 1 was Swanson versus Choi.
Okay. Yeah.
I put that at number 1. That's UFC 206. And that's featherweight. Choi's showing precision through this fight. With his punches.
That's how he knocks people out.
Right.
He's got power and that serious precision.
Yeah, so they land where you want them to with that power. But both powerful. I mean, every punch in this fight was landing with force. I mean, there was hard hits on both sides. They were taken and given. And then I would have hated to have been a judge on this fight.
I thought Cub won for sure.
It went the distance.
It went the distance, but I thought Cub definitely won that one though.
This was one I got excited rewatching even.
That's the sign of a great fight is when you watch it more than twice or 3 times, and I did watch that 3 times already.
And I mean Swanson, he's exhausted at the end, and he's still trying to throw Superman punches and cartwheel kicks. I mean, he's still trying to change up shit.
Yeah, he was throwing wild offense. Yeah.
But it was just a slugfest, and like I said, this was the techniques that were used in this and how hard they were hitting. I appreciated that fight tremendously.
And you can see experience versus youth. You know what I'm saying in that fight, and I think it was Cub's experience that won him out.
Yeah. Who's your number 1?
My number 1 is Polo Reyes versus Dong Hong Kim.
I couldn't get that fight. I couldn't see it.
It's like 2 pretty much unknown fighters. There's no belt on the line. It was the first fight of a Fight Pass fight. So it was the first fight of the entire night. The stadium is virtually empty because the crowd is just starting to come in. And
maybe this is why I had a hard time finding video, because that was on my list to look up.
It's on Fight Pass.
I tried to go on Fight Pass, wouldn't load.
I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. But it's like these guys, they just start slugging it out, and it just doesn't stop from the beginning. Even Joe Rogan's like, "This is the craziest fight I've ever seen."
Rogan's hilarious to listen to during these great fights.
But these guys, it's like they're just smashing each other in the face, and it's just going back for 3 rounds, and it ends in a finish with a KO too.
Yeah.
And it's just like you just can't believe it looks like a movie fight. It looks like a fight. It's like, if you saw it, like Joe Rogan, I think Joe Rogan said that. He was like, if you saw this in a movie, you'd be like, people don't fight like that. But here they are, and it was just incredible, that fight.
So that's our top 5 fights of 2016. Let us know what your top fights from 2016 are. What were the most memorable fights for you?
Yeah, I'm sure we've missed some.
Oh, there was a ton. I mean, I had a list. I had to pare down. Like this was.
Yeah, this could have been a top 10 list, for real.
Right. Which I know a lot of other shows do and everything, but we're trying to.
Keep it for the short attention span people.
Yeah, let us know what your top 5 fights of 2016 were. And please like, comment, and subscribe to Weighing In Fights and Films.
And don't forget to support her MMA fight career by buying her merchandise. Link is below.
And that's it.
And like, comment, and subscribe.